Once upon a time, there lived a wise and just king named Edward. King Edward was respected by all who knew him, but he was troubled by the lack of an heir to inherit his throne. King Edward was married to two sisters, Martha and Grace. Martha, the eldest sister, was known throughout the kingdom for her unwavering kindness and loyalty, despite her plain appearance. Grace, the younger sister, was blessed with breathtaking beauty, but her heart was as cold as ice, filled with envy and deceit. Both Martha and Grace were expecting a child, and as per an ancient tradition, whoever gave birth to a son first would become the queen and heir to the throne. As the months passed, tension grew between the sisters, each determined to secure her place as the future queen. Martha, with her gentle nature, prayed for a safe delivery and the health of her unborn child, while Grace plotted and schemed to ensure her victory. The kingdom held its breath as the due dates approached, and whispers of treachery and betrayal spread like wildfire through the land. One stormy night, Martha went into labor. Her cries echoed through the halls of the castle. Despite the efforts of the royal physicians, tragedy struck, and Martha succumbed to complications during childbirth. As Martha drew her last breath, a cry rang out from the other end of the castle. Grace had given birth to a healthy baby boy, sealing her fate as the new queen and heir to the throne. The kingdom mourned the loss of their beloved Martha, but Grace reveled in her newfound power, her beauty twisted into a sinister grin. However, as days turned into weeks, strange occurrences began to plague the kingdom. Shadows danced in the corners of the castle, and eerie whispers echoed through the corridors at night. King Edward grew increasingly troubled by the unsettling events, but Grace dismissed his concerns, her heart consumed by thoughts of power and glory. Meanwhile, a darkness crept into the castle, feeding on the envy and greed that filled Grace's heart. Shadows lurked in every corner, and whispers of a malevolent presence spread like wildfire through the land. One moonlit night, King Edward awoke to find Grace standing at the foot of his bed, her eyes filled with malice. She revealed her true nature, confessing to orchestrating Martha's demise in order to claim the throne for herself. Filled with rage and despair, King Edward confronted Grace, but she laughed in his face, reveling in her victory. Desperate to rid the kingdom of Grace's tyranny, King Edward sought the guidance of the kingdom's oldest and wisest advisor, a mysterious figure known only as the Sage. The sage revealed that Grace had made a pact with dark forces in exchange for power and beauty, but her actions had unleashed a terrible curse upon the kingdom. To break the curse and restore peace to the land, King Edward must embark on a perilous quest to retrieve the Tears of the Moon, a mythical artifact said to hold the power to banish darkness and evil. With a heavy heart and determination in his eyes, King Edward set out on his quest, facing treacherous forests, dark caverns, and ancient ruins in his search for the Tears of the Moon. At last, after many trials and tribulations, King Edward reached the heart of the forest where the Tears of the Moon lay hidden beneath a shimmering pool of water. With trembling hands, King Edward reached out and grasped the artifact, feeling its power surge through his veins. With a single determined thought, he unleashed the power of the Tears of the Moon, banishing the darkness and evil that had plagued the kingdom. As dawn broke over the horizon, Castle Edward stood bathed in the warm glow of a new beginning. The people rejoiced, their hearts filled with hope for the future. And though Martha had been lost, her memory lived on in the hearts of the people, a testament to the enduring power of kindness and loyalty. As for Grace, her beauty faded with each passing day, until she vanished into the shadows, a forgotten relic of a dark and distant past. And so, the kingdom of Edward was restored to its former glory, a beacon of light and hope in a world filled with darkness and despair. Once the darkness had been banished from the kingdom of Edward, a sense of peace settled over the land. But King Edward knew that his work was not yet done. He had lost his beloved Martha and had seen the true nature of his once beloved Grace. Determined to ensure the safety and prosperity of his kingdom, he set out on a journey to rebuild and strengthen his realm. With the guidance of the sage, King Edward began to implement changes within the kingdom. He established new laws to protect the rights of his people and ensure justice for all. He appointed trusted advisors to help him govern, drawing on their wisdom and expertise to lead the kingdom forward. Meanwhile, whispers of the king's bravery and leadership spread far and wide, earning him the respect and admiration of neighboring realms. Allies from distant lands offered their support and friendship, eager to stand beside King Edward in his quest for a brighter future. As the kingdom flourished under King Edward's rule, the memory of Martha remained ever present in the hearts of the people. They spoke of her kindness and compassion, her unwavering loyalty to her king and her kingdom. Monuments were erected in her honor, and her legacy lived on in the stories passed down through generations. But despite the peace and prosperity that now reigned in the kingdom of Edward, King Edward could not shake the feeling of emptiness that lingered within his heart. He longed for a companion to share his joys and sorrows, someone who would stand by his side through thick and thin. One day, as he traveled through the countryside, King Edward came upon a humble village nestled in a verdant valley. There, he met a young woman named Lily, whose kindness and grace reminded him of Martha. Though she was not as beautiful as Grace, there was a warmth and sincerity in her eyes that captivated the king. Drawn to her gentle spirit, King Edward found himself spending more and more time in Lily's company. They shared long walks through the countryside, discussing their hopes and dreams for the future. And as the days turned into weeks, King Edward realized that he had found in Lily the companion he had been searching for. With a heart full of love and hope, King Edward proposed marriage to Lily, and she accepted with tears of joy in her eyes. The kingdom rejoiced at the news, celebrating the union of their beloved king with a woman whose kindness and loyalty rivaled that of Martha herself. As King Edward and Lily stood before their people on their wedding day, the sun shone brightly overhead, casting a warm glow over the kingdom of Edward. It was a day of joy and celebration, a symbol of new beginnings and the promise of a brighter tomorrow. And so, King Edward and Queen Lily ruled the kingdom together, their reign marked by compassion, justice, and the enduring power of love. Under their wise and benevolent leadership, the kingdom of Edward flourished, becoming a beacon of hope and inspiration for all who dwelled within its borders. As for Grace, her fate remained unknown. Her beauty faded, and her power stripped away by the curse she had brought upon herself. Some say she wandered the land as a lost soul, forever haunted by the darkness she had unleashed. Others say she met a more fitting end, consumed by the very shadows she had sought to control. But whatever became of Grace, her legacy served as a warning to all who dared to tread the path of greed and betrayal. And in the end, it was the kindness and loyalty of Martha and Lily, the true queens of Edward's heart, that shone brightest of all, illuminating the kingdom with their everlasting love.